Welcome back to the Franchise Ain't Dead podcast here on YouTube, or if you're listening to it elsewhere on one of the many podcast platforms, welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing an issue in EA College Football 27, an issue that has been going on for a couple of years. I've noticed it in the last two editions. I'm still noticing it again here in 23, and there is a Reddit post in which to prove this. There continues to be a lack of 4- and 5-star players that get recruited. According to this post here on the NCAA FB Series Reddit thread called Continuing Moaning About CPU Recruitment, the person asked, why EA are there teams on National Signing Day, past the end of the portal, have only 4 players signed in their entire recruiting class. The 13th team in the nation has only 5 players. The 25th has 6 and 7 of them that are 2 stars. And apparently this poster went through and counted how many 4-star high school players made it through the entire recruiting and transfer portal period that went without an offer. There were 11 quarterbacks, 28 running backs, 38 wide receivers, 5 tight ends, 5 guards, a center, 6 edge rushers, 3 defensive tackles, 3 outside linebackers, 13 middle linebackers, 4 cornerbacks, 1 free safety for a total of 118. And they even stated that 3-star is even worse and that this is going to kill the game, because it is. Maybe the cut the total number of recruits is this person's suggestions. In other words, half the 4 stars, the 3 stars, 2 stars, all the way down to the 1 star, so that there are enough players that are getting attention and are getting recruited even in the transfer portal. And it makes sense. Another solution they state would be for NIL expectations to drop over the course of the season if there are no offers. And it just makes sense for that to be the case. If you're not getting offered, and we don't have the aspect of academics being an issue, any legal troubles, like it's just everybody is a cookie cutter player with no issues that you got to worry about, outside of playing the game of football. Like, we shouldn't have these issues where top players, outside of an extremely, extremely rare circumstance, which would be one of probably those 2 situations, academic or legal issues, we shouldn't have players not getting recruited. And I feel like this is an issue that other sports games have, in the sense that, in the grand scheme of things, that there are features that us, the user, are given that the CPU just will not utilize. And I don't expect them to be perfect and cheese on everything. If you've listened to this podcast for any length of a period, despite the fact that I am not the most consistent in putting stuff out, MLB The Show also has an issue when it comes to scouting. And it's had it since they've put in the new scouting system, where the CPU teams, they'll scout, or they'll put guys on the board, but they won't scout them beyond maybe 15 to 20%, if at all. So routinely, when you see the progress bar as to how much a player is scouted, that is exclusively on you. If you have scouted a player to 100%, it'll show it as if, oh yeah, the CPU knew what they were doing, as opposed to them going after their own players, going after and discovering players of their own in order to build a roster or an organization in baseball that makes sense for them, as opposed to piggybacking off of what I'm doing. These systems can handle it. Don't make it seem like the CPU teams can't handle things. It's no different than EA College Football 26, 25, and now 27. It should not be hard. We should only really be having, like, maybe some 3 stars, maybe a bit more 2 stars, and probably a lot more 1 stars that go unrecruited. Just because if you're not the talent, you're not the talent. And some of those players should eventually pop up in later years as JUCO players, whether they're better than their high school star rating or not, whatever. so that, I mean, listen, we're never going to really know if those players were not recruited out of high school and became a 3-star JUCO player, and, you know, they may be a viable player for your roster at a later point in time. But we have got to, not we, the devs at these sports games need to ensure that BCPU is using the things that are put in the games for us. I can probably tell you for a fact that most QA at these AAA studios is basically they will run a 1-year simulation. And I think, I can't remember whose tweet it was, but I definitely saw something out there that, yeah, they only run a 1-year simulation to see if things work. And you know damn well that's not good enough. Not for any of these sports games. EA College Football has a 30-year recruiting, has a 30-year dynasty window. NBA 2K has an 80-year window. I think Madden is also 30. And MLB The Show, you could literally just keep going. You could literally just keep going and going and going and going. I know some people out there that are still running essentially GM-only sims in MLB The Show 20, and they're like 150 years in the future. Now, the problem with that is that they don't keep track of any of the stats or the awards, which makes it really lame, which makes no sense why, you know, MLB The Show can't bother to just archive award winners and champions and stuff like that on a single page. Any record breaking, because let's be honest, the records haven't really been broken but maybe 1 or 2 times in the 21-year history of MLB The Show. It might be a little different for other games like NBA 2K and EA College Football, maybe Madden. I think they just started back with, you know, making sure that you can see beyond, you know, a more recent time frame of things. Like, you got to do better. I'm just saying. Like, you got to do better. Like, it's well beyond the time that you guys aren't maxing out these things. Now, I am currently playing EA College Football 27 on my console, reluctantly, but that's only because I literally cannot upgrade my PC to Windows 11, nor would I really want to in order to play EA College Football 27 on PC. So, console is what I'm rocking with. If that's something you want to see on the channel, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will holler at y'all later. Peace out.